Good morning, good evening, free enterprise fans. Boy, oh boy, do we have a race for you. I'm joined with Solaris in the booth. How's it going, Solaris?
Hello. Hi. I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing all right. We've got
Ready for
the ping
some
puffs.
Yeah, ready for some pink puff action.
Oh, yeah. Looking at these objectives here, we've got defeat Evil Wall, complete Cave Bahamut, Bird Mist, and possibly required music, as we've got all three caves on the docket today.
Yep, we will be spelunking tonight, for sure. And Evil Wall Evil Wall's Evil Wall's an interesting one. That can show up in a number of places that is very much not fun. Like Cave Bahamut, actually. I'm trying not to wish evil upon the world, but if Evil Wall is in Cave Bahamut, I think our runners will not be very happy, because that would become hard required.
Yeah, and that spot hits like a semi-truck.
Yeah, yeah. Really, anywhere on the moon, Evil Wall is not fun. Every spot on the moon hits very hard.
We've got the Kane start, and this is what's been called, rejection percent. All those characters that most notably don't get very much love in the community. You've got Porum, Tella, Young, Edward. At least you got a Kane who's known for being patently average. But how do you feel about the characters that are going to be in this particular flag set?
So having not a lot of experience running these flags, but having experience with these characters in general, first of all, we start with Kane. Kane is the Val Insurance protection plan. Also a very good character amongst this crew. So even if we end up with a pile of Edwards, we've at least got Kane to kind of lean on, who can wear a lot of the gear early game. Also Sid, very good. I mean, there are a lot of characters here that I think what's really smart about this flag set is that you'll learn who you can lean on. That's actually pretty good to do so, like Sid. Porum is a very good functional white mage early game. Tella has a lot of function to him. Rydia actually has some good function to her, some good utility to her, which we'll learn even more about, I think, in ZZ4, where she sort of gets a buff. The last character I'll say here, Yang, even though this is a T Wildish flag set, Yang is always good. So we'll see where they go with that, but for now, we're about to start.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what our second character is going to be. It's Best Boy, apparently. It is Ed. And they've got an adamant to start off with. Oscar, are you trying to do your inner Dathis here with the vanilla Baigan? With the flags, I believe it's T Wildish. Where would you kind of start looting right off the bat? Where do you think our runners are going to go?
I think there's a few places you can go, and there's, I think, two different mindsets you could have. I think you can go to Watery Pass or Eblin Castle. Those places are still weighted the best for quality of loot, and Kane can wear all sorts of things you can find. But on T Wildish, honestly, you could go pretty much anywhere. So I'm not surprised to see Arusta going to Watery Pass here, going to do some looting. And actually, so this is free characters?
Yeah, so Mike looks like he's
that
going
changes
over.
The routing a lot, yeah.
Going to get two free characters here. We get a Porum for the first one. And Tella. Not too bad.
So Mike having named Tella D-Money.
I mean, he's not wrong. Tella does enable the D-Money in most runs.
Yeah, so Tella's great. Realizing now that it's free characters, that changes my mind. I just go Watery Pass because you want the character anyway. And the loot here is pretty good.
Yeah, we've got a cat claw in the waterfalls. That's gonna be really good for an early Yang if we find one.
Yeah, great for an early Yang. It's also just good money. The kind of benefit of what Mike did first was going to Damsian, not Damsian, sorry, going to Mysidia is that Tala is also like the resident exit mage, so it's just going to make a lot of the character checks, a lot of the early game stuff go a little bit faster. So like you can loot the waterfall, for instance, and then get out quicker
Yeah, it looks like we got
with
a
exits. Sorry, my brain's just been deleted right now. We found a white spear in
yeah,
the Damsian treasury.
along with an earth hammer, a black shirt, and and a heroine robe for that Porum. Damsian's got the loot today, and
So
good old Rubicon is taking a bath.
this is what I was talking about T Wildish though. The weightings on T Wildish, like yeah, they're not favorable in this location, but T Wildish just sort of makes loot good everywhere. So I'm not that surprised to see that white spear.
Yeah,
Really, that white spear is all those all this team needs early game. You can lean entirely on that weapon alone.
Yeah, and then we've also got Sid with an Earth Hammer, which we can use for a Quake if we find an alt gauntlet early on.
Oh, and a power shirt in Antlion.
Wow. Most places that some runners tend not to loot, with Antlion because they're so spread apart. But T Wild is tending to make us rethink things.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of my mindset in T Wildish that I'm just going to loot whatever's in my way and go play. Okay, 2 power shirts? Really? Really, game? 2 power shirts in Antlion. Where is this in my seeds?
Yeah, I know. We have a very powerful Antlion cave here.
Power shirt specifically, look, even Edward could wear that shirt and gain incredible benefit from it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, power shirt 15 to strength early on, that is huge.
It's also a ton of defense. And shout out to Diet Food, the junk flag is on, which means that the tier, I want to say tier 1 through 3, or it's tier 1 and 2, the items you normally don't want, the iron armors of the game, they get converted automatically to gold, but with the junk flag on, you're going to get iron armor, you're going to get Diet Food. It just means a little bit more inventory management.
Or stopping at a shop to pawn off a bunch of the stuff you find because you're not getting the money from the chests.
Yeah, and chat confirming it's just tier 1. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, thank you. So we're about to see our first boss here in Antlion Cave. Blue robe.
Speaking of that alt gauntlet, which this is not, our single blue robe. Not really what you want to see here. This boss is would be so much better found almost anywhere else, but
yeah, this spot such low HP. I think it's only about 1,000 here, and having to go through this cutscene makes it a little bit longer. You always hope to find it on a high experience point. Therefore, you can go, hey, there's some easy levels.
Yeah, and can my archers please just hit? But yeah, Water Hag going down for Arusta. We'll go down for Mike shortly. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, Mike's got the full party. Whether or not he keeps this to be his end team. So, talking about loot, do you want more loot, Solaris?
Yeah, so this is a party rock. This is the Earth Crystal. That will enable us to go look at the treasury. The treasury is 18 chests with a pretty good weighting to them, and on T Wildish, and we are able to get tier 7 and now tier 8 loot.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good chance that treasury is going to have some really, really incredible things.
Yeah, we could end up finding, good old defense sword or an Avenger being the tier 7 item. Oof.
And it looks like, chat, we are having technical issues with Arusta's stream. Stand by, please. We'll get that resolved very shortly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do have Mike deciding to not go to Earth Crystal just yet. Check in to see what's here on Hob since you're over in the location. See, maybe find one of the required bosses, or maybe a different character to swap somebody out if he so chooses. And Mega Sisters. Hey, at least they're off the table. I'm happy about
Yeah,
that.
that's a good time to check it. Hobbs is one of those places for me when I'm playing with free characters, I tend to forget about it. So getting it out of the way like that, pretty smart.
Yeah, and at least checking for the boss was a big thing. And knowing that Mega Sisters are out, in some locations, Mega Sister can just be mean. You know,
Yeah, that's a pretty favorable spot there, being early game.
yeah, then
The
we
fact
have
that
limit.
Mega Sisters punch and cast, yeah, that could be
Yeah,
pretty weird in
anywhere.
some places.
Well, let's see what's at Fabul here. We've got, oh, there's the elements. I think just a jump from Kane with that. I believe Mike has the white spear on Kane right now.
So would you say this fight is elementary?
Yes, very much so. But not getting enough damage to be able to skip through it. Hopefully, sticking looks like an Elven Bow and Ice Arrows on Ruby. Should be able to get through the fight.
Yeah, the ice one alone able to. The funny quirk about this boss fight is that it has a hit point refill script in the middle of it, because normally it's in a spot that has more health than the game can kind of fit in at once. So getting the magma key, that's good. That's underground access from Fabul. No fading Fabul tonight, probably anyways. The Fabul defense, but yeah, the elements. The first two boss spots have their own hit point pool, but if you deal enough damage, it doesn't get to like do this HP refill basically. So we see that pretty frequently, especially if that spot's in an early location.
Yeah, and Chad bringing up that Mylon Z in the elements is actually resistant to most things that he's normally weak to. So the Holy, the air attack that he's normally weak to in his Mylon Z form, he's actually strong against.
Yeah, Mylan Z flipping the script. Also, Rubicon in that form specifically is a mage and is weak to mage equipment. That's why we saw Porum putting on the Elven Bow. Ruby himself, the full leg, is not a mage, so, you know, wrap your head around that, but...
Yeah, it as we say, good old 90s coding. You why is Ruby a mage in one section but not the other? Who knows? We have my Mike checking out the shops here in Agert.
So notably, the thing our characters are not doing immediately, though I guess we don't exactly know where Aroosta went after Antlion, who is back now, at least visibly for us. Another character has gone, another runner has gone to check that the treasury from the Earth Crystal. I don't mind this though, because we have 2 power shirts and a white spear. It's sort of like all the power you need. I don't know if Aroosta has that white spear. I know I saw Mike picked it up.
Yeah, it looks like Aroosta's got a poison axe on Sid right now. I don't believe, by the looks of it, Aroosta may have not looted Damsian. No, missed out on the white spear, earth hammer, and heroin rope, if I remember correctly, in that location.
Yeah, that one treasury really had the goods. I mean, that was probably as good as the Earth Crystal treasury is going to be. The thing I'd be probably most interested out of the Earth Crystal treasury might actually be Artemis arrows. I can't think of a whole lot else. I mean, there's going to be really good stuff in there, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking,
I
Artemis
understand...
Arrows, Avenger, maybe an extra power shirt, or, Sork robes for our team.
Avenger's a good one. Avenger's a really good one. That weapon is silly.
Yeah. But Feymarch having Crystal Ring, and I missed what the other item was there, and I know it was somewhat good. Oh, Thunderclaw, because they just recently upped the price on the Thunderclaws in the new version. So finding a free Thunderclaw, if you find a young, that'll be nice.
Yeah, it saves I think it went up to 5K now, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
still
used
not
to be.
the most
It used to be like
expensive weapon, but
it used to be like 350 gold. So it was always one of
yep.
those things that you'd always just buy, and now you have to make a choice whether or not do I want to spend the money. But definitely finding a free one, you'll love to see it.
Yeah, definitely. So getting a look at that free Feymarch key item, tonight it's the pass.
Well, okay then. We've got Hourglass 2s. Just Hourglass 2s in the Feymarch shop.
I mean, that's better than just Odin. The number of shops, I swear, in this game that just sell Odin. Like, specialty artisan crafted Odin. Who's the clientele? I really want to know.
I know, right? So we have Mike checking out the Feymarch here, saving before checking the bosses. Always nice to see, because if you end up doing, if there's a sparkle down there, you can just check it and then reset. And one side's free, one side's mean.
Yeah, that's a very good news, bad news. So, okay, checking which of the two guard or soldiers. Okay, so this is the Baron Guards. That's information for now.
Eddie being in critical HP and instantly hiding, I wonder if Eddie will hide before the first wave of Dark Knight Cecil.
If Mike can set up the agility properly, I don't know what level Eddie is, I missed that, but if Eddie gets some levels and can wear that crystal ring, I don't know if they found a cursed ring.
Don't believe they have.
Yeah, you really need Edward to be a lot faster than the anchor for it to work, basically.
I think he might be. I know base level Eddie has some pretty high agility.
So he also, and chat smartly pointing this out, something I learned very recently, very, very recently, Edward doesn't auto-hide in boss fights. If the boss doesn't have the boss bit, he'll hide, but otherwise he will not auto-hide. Why? I don't know. But, I mean, you could still put Edward in the top slot, because your anchor's in the middle, right? And you'd get to his turn first, you'd go to, like, battle speed 6, and then you'd hide. And it would still work. It just wouldn't work automatically.
Oh, looks like Mike's looking at his agility. He might try for it. I mean, I believe that Edward is RA1 if I'm doing my fuzzy math correctly.
I missed it, but with the crystal ring, it's not unreasonable. Tella is pretty slow.
Yeah, Tella's got 8 agility, and Edward right now has 18.
Then you need 20 agility, I think. RA2 might be enough, though. RA2 being relative agility 2, which is weird arcane agility math, but... Oh, Porum's wearing that heroine robe. That might have ruined it. Let's see if Edward gets the hide off now. Okay. Okay. We need to talk agility for a moment to kind of explain what's going on.
You know better than I do.
So, while Arusta is kind of going through underground checks, we'll take just a moment. Agility is weird black magic in this game. Everything about how often enemies and characters act are based on the agility stat of either Cecil in the vanilla game or the character in the middle slot. The kind of long and short of it is that if you have a slow anchor, it will slow down everyone that's fast. If you have a fast anchor, it'll kind of slow the boss down while keeping your party fast, depending on like what location it's at. Early game you like having we call this an anchor. Early game you like having a fast anchor. Late game you like having a slow anchor. Mike is trying to manipulate his agility because the consequence of this is that depending on the agility of your middle slot character, and there's like a priority order here of when characters take their turns, And depending on the agility of your other party members, you can determine like what character is going to go in what order, and if that character will take a turn before the boss or not, essentially. So without getting into more specifics past that, Mike needed a really specific agility setup where Edward has 2.5 times the center character's agility. That would make him what we call relative agility 1, which I don't think I'll go deep into defining that, but just know that that's the number he was looking for. That's kind of the agility stat he needed, and I don't think he's there yet. And Porum, with the heroin robe, that's got, what, 10 or 15 agility on it, might be a bit too much faster than Edward at the moment.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Arrested is checking out a little bit more of the Fey March checks. Finds the crystal ring, but also finds the defense sword for Kane. So Kane's got his best weaponry so far.
Yeah, defense sword, great pickup.
We find Starveil's in a shop. Since we really don't have a starter kit, definitely want to pick some of those up.
A couple comments from chat. Yes, agility in this game could be a several college lecture kind of thing. That's honestly kind of true. Question about if modern games do similar types of calculations. No. The agility... Final Fantasy IV is the first... It came out in 1991, and it was the first Final Fantasy game that had the active time battle system where things kind of happen in real time instead of just being completely turn-based. There is a way to have this system that is independent of, one specific character's agility. It was essentially a shortcut for them to implement that system on this game. Future Final Fantasy games don't base the speed of everything in battle based on one character. So it's really, really specific to this game.
Oh, and we have found our sirens in Dwarf Castle.
Sirens are great.
Yeah, we found our grind option.
Yep, found our grind. Tell, of course, also enabling a grind on the D machine, but I mean, if you have eggs, and now I'm even more interested in finding Artemis arrows. That would make eggs kind of trivial, but yeah, we see Mike going over to this little peninsula of power. If you use a siren, this gets you the rarest encounter on the encounter table. There's 8 options, and at this location specifically, it's a yellow dragon egg, which does nothing until you hit it. But if you kill it in one shot like a coffin does, then you just kill it and you get a ton of experience. So this is a good way to power up your team early.
Yeah, I go 34,000, and anybody that's 5 under the median, it's 68,000. Really great way to get that first influx of experience on your team. Looks like Mike might be heading back onto the overworld. Where he decides to go next, we shall find out.
Looks like Mike set up Sheila 1, so we're going to go back and turn that freebie in. Probably thinking about Ordeals after this. You have Tala in your party. Ordeals will give Tala the rest of his spells. You're also still looking for Evil Wall, and Ordeals has 3 bosses in one location.
Yeah, 3 bosses
that might be
is
where
kind
he
of
goes
big.
Next.
There's also argument to say that he does have Earth Crystal, and you're right across the river from the good old Troya. I don't believe... Oh, the Spoon Flag is on, so Edward just got his version of a crystal sword. Okay,
so we have Power Shirt, Crystal Ring, Spoon, Edward. That is probably... that is probably like his best form possible.
Yeah, the only way it gets any better is Adamant Armor, which isn't on. So, yeah, Edward's about best in slot right now.
Meanwhile, we see Arusta looking at the Dwarf Castle 1 boss. I like doing that, because you get to see who that boss is, and finds out that it's Ashura. So now you know if you come back with Mage Mashing gear, you can get through that encounter easily, and you also know it's not Evil Wall or Demist. So,
Right.
good information.
Yeah, being able to check the first boss because you can always check the second boss if and when you go up Zod. So being able to see all the bosses with relative ease
Yep.
is always a nice play.
We're also going to do his egg, get his power here. Looks like both runners have that one coffin in their inventory.
Yeah, both runners are finding that down in the fort chest in Fame Arch.
There are other ways to scramble an egg, but that, especially for this party this early, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to take chances of it cracking open because once the dragon comes out, you need to make sure you kill it quickly because anytime you physically hit it, it will counter with the all-party Thundercast.
It looks like instead of ordeals, Mike is interested in doing the Baron Inn spot. And I think he also checked Watery Pass, which he might not have done that in the opening routing. I don't quite remember, but looks like just prioritizing characters along with, just kind of get him checks in general. Ordeals is also still on the way. If you leave from here, Ordeals is still kind of close, so...
Yeah,
and this is 2 bosses.
Yeah, Mike went straight to Mysidia to get the 2 free characters. Didn't loot anything besides Damsian and Antline. So going back, and we've got more vanilla.
More vanilla, and oh boy, if you wanted Tella, like...
Arrested getting rid of Edward. Interesting. May have not done Sheila 1, so does not have the knowledge of the spoon. But multiple Tellas.
So, getting rid of, oh, here's our evil wall. Objective found in a very kind location. Most bosses, actually I think pretty much any boss that ends up here is somewhat trivialized because the Milan 1 encounter, it just has bad stats. It has bad physical attack, it has bad magical attack. You just saw it punch Tella for 26 damage. So
yeah,
this is a very kind spot to have an evil wall.
Yeah, if memory serves, this is the weakest attack power spot in the game for bosses. It is just that bad. But we got good old Kane Nazo here at Baron Inn 2. Not the worst spot for him.
Yeah, weakest attack power in the game. It has okay magic, but I think for the level of difficulty of that encounter, the magic in the back attack spot is much more painful. And finding the D-Lunars back here it's a little awkward. The White Spear, I believe, would do a lot of work, but Arusta has the defense sword instead. I think the most awkward thing about the situation right now is that the D-Lunars get their script going basically immediately because of the time that they get from having a back attack. Which is going to lead into the fire, 2 fire casts, which each of those, and then they're going to punch 4 times. Did cast breath, but it looks like we're just going to be able to deal enough damage with the levels we got and the gear we have. But they're not going to live very long.
Yeah, taking out that back one with the jump, basically it'll end up kind of stopping the script for the virus because it has to readjust itself once you hit it. So not getting any more fire casts out afterwards, going down very quickly to a Berserk Sid.
Yeah, and I also always forget this very weird fact. The D-Lunars aren't weak to Holy. Which, they're undead. They're weak to... They're dragons, technically. They're weak to dragon slaying gear, but they're not weak to the... they're not weak to the White Spear. They're weak to the Crystal Sword, because that, I think, has specific properties against the undead. As well as being holy.
Another sparkle here. Just bailed him. It'll do.
It's another good spot to find Paledem. Paledem only punches, so like from that
Yeah.
perspective.
Mhm.
Not really a bad boss to find, but it's also
No,
just kind of annoying, kind of slow.
finding the pan though, that that kind of makes things a little differently. Of do you go turn that in and get Sheila completely done and over with? That's another two.
Arista for sure will do that, because I don't think he's done Sheila 1.
I don't think Arista has. So that's possible 3 key items right there, just from that chain.
Yeah, you could do Baron in first, just so because it's along your way, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arista just turns that pan in immediately and then kind of figures out what to do from there.
Right.
Also, chat pointing out, you don't want the D-Lunars to counter with viruses at the back attack spot. Like I was saying earlier, the magic attack is actually rather high for the difficulty of that location. But with the gear that they have, D-Lunars just die really quickly. So, no big deal there.
We have Arista going and checking some more shopping here at Silvera.
Finding a cursed ring. Okay, so seeing that cursed ring is reminding me. I want to go back to letting go of Edward and taking a second Tella. It's an interesting play. I'm uncertain about it, only for a couple of reasons. One, Tella not great in multiples, even though he is a wonderful mage to have. And two, Arista knows that DKC is in the Fame Arch and that Edward is a way through it, or might not be thinking of it, but it makes sense to me of getting rid of Edward from the perspective of like he's kind of dead weight on the team without a spoon, basically. If C-Buy is off, and I think it is, yeah, he may actually go back and pick up that Edward again when he finds out that the spoon is here. So we'll kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah, going back to Fabul here to turn in Sheila 1. Before turning in the pan, maybe hoping for something like a twin harp to go over to Troya in one dip. But as we know, he's gonna find the spoon here. And then comes the choice: do you pick the Edward back up with that spoon?
I think I would, yeah. I would definitely be interested in Edward. Also, just from a fun perspective, okay, hear me out. How often do you get to play with Spoon, Power Shirt, Crystal Ring, Edward?
Not very much.
It's not very often, yeah. I mean, I am not very much... there are a lot of cases where I will not take a Spoon Word because he's still a brittle glass cannon, but this is a spot I'd be very happy to have him on the team.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like we've got Mike going and checking in the public treasury first. And
Arista's, yeah, giving us that, I think it might be time to... No, it's time for the public treasury first. I was going to say it's time to rate that treasury, but... Okay.
Now it's time to rate that treasury. It's Mike. Both runners are doing public treasury. You're here, why not? Runex, protect rate. Okay. There's the Artemis arrows you were talking about. Archer bow.
Treasury.
Okay. I don't. The one item we missed with the technical issues from Mike, we found Crystal Sword.
Yeah, there's that obligatory, hi, here's a crystal sword. No, you can't use it. It's reject percent. Sorry.
That was for a ton, though. I mean, that's 315,000 right there. Finance the rest of your run.
It's a ton of money. The best thing, I think, were the Artemis arrows, and the second best thing, it's kind of a tie for me. It's the runic axe and the glass hat. Glass hat has a ton of armor on it. Runic
Yeah,
Axe, Arusta specifically knows that Ashura is sitting in Dwarf Castle 1, so very good weapon against her. And yeah, no Avenger, but still really good money.
oh yeah, but also found an Artemis bow as well.
Yeah, Artemis
So,
bow is very good. Porum will make very good use of that.
oh yeah.
It's not so much on my mind at the moment, just because Kane is so strong, and especially for Mike, like Kane and Edward are both online, leaving Porum likely more apt to just do white mage things. But I mean, especially early game, you just want to put a heroine robe on her.
Yeah, but you've also got
Gives her a ton of defense.
the process of in the future giving the bow to Sid, giving Bo
Now,
the Artemis bow and boosting his strength through the roof with it.
yeah, he is the best Artemis bow wielder by far. Sid, for whatever reason, has an incredibly high crit rate compared to other characters. The crit, it's sort of different per character, and Sid's is really pretty high. Makes really good use of that bow.
I mean, Sid is an engineer. He has to know the ins and outs of most things, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Sure, yeah.
I mean, the ability that you really don't see that much in gameplay is the peep ability, which basically scans the enemy. So finding their weak points, I can understand him having a higher crit rate.
That actually logically makes sense to me. And I don't know how to feel about it, because this game is not very logical sometimes.
It's me bringing logic to a game that is mostly illogical in some cases.
But in the meanwhile, Mike, on through this Tower of Zot, finding the Dark Elf and the Maga Sister spot, having really no problems with it. We're gonna get rewarded with 2 more characters, which at this point I don't think is really gonna be anyone we care too much about. But now we know Dr. Luge is Dwarf Castle 2. Neither of our runners know both the boss spots. Arusta will learn certain because he's going to Dwarf Castle now, but yeah, Tower of Zot could easily have a key item. Dwarf Castle, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah. I don't know if the warp glitch is on in this particular flag set. And we can just have another Sid here at the top of Zot.
Looks like the warp glitch is on.
Okay, so there's going to be 2 key items for Arista here, if he remembers to do the warp glitch.
Well, the thing I forget all the freaking time. I swear to you.
Been there, done that. Not fun. But does have the doesn't have the Luca key. That's right, Luca key was from Baron Inn.
So, showing you the power of that Runic Axe, by the way, Sid is swinging for a casual 4,000 against Ashura here, who does count as a mage and has the weakness against the Runic Axe. Dealing pretty good damage.
Oh yeah. And I was about to say Kane finish it out here, but unfortunately doesn't. I think Sid will take out Ashura here without a problem.
Yeah, it gets through that, and then we'll find the Luge next. And Luge at most bosses at the Golbez spot are pretty trivial, so Luge won't really give him any trouble. However, on Mike's side,
well, here's the old gauntlet.
not what you want to see.
Nope.
You don't want to find this alt gauntlet anywhere, really. Once in a while on the moon, it's kind of cute because you can just take it as a grind, but yeah, this feels bad. If Zot doesn't have any value to it, you just went through an alt gauntlet for no value, and Zot is already a long chuck, so Mike probably feeling pretty bad about this right now.
Yeah, I mean, at least to get more experience with the alt gauntlet, I believe, in this spot. So
Yep,
it's hard to say.
That's true, and that's the case for most spots you find the alt gauntlet. It's going to be more experience than you would get from the boss on its own.
Chat pointed out that, yes, not what our runners want to see, but definitely what chat wants to see.
Oh yeah, we love the rudest things, but this is like the alt gauntlet here, it's not even rude. It's trivial. It's rude in the like really game, really kind of way, but not in the difficult kind of way.
It looks like we've got a Rydia vanilla, three scoops of vanilla so far.
Arusta taking the Rydia, good anchor. Though she does get levels here now, so looking to use her for other purposes. Of course, Tella still being a very good anchor.
I mean, we did find that Leviathan in the treasury, and Rydia with Leviathan's actually pretty good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Leviathan's very good. By the way, shout out to the new release that came out for Free Enterprise. The latest version makes Leviathan a tier 5 item, so it's available in S standard shops. It makes Rydia pretty good. We're going to see a lot more of Rydia casting Leviathan, I think, going forward.
Yeah, I've been able to find an early Leviathan in a shop, though it is quite expensive. At was it 50,000? It's worth its weight in gold. And we have the Warp Witch.
Like 30,000. There's a rat tail from the Lucas spot. That is a key item and very easily could be, well, any number of things.
Oh yeah. No hook to turn it in just yet.
You put it in your back pocket. You can't do anything with it yet.
No. And we found the Baron Key.
And I guess the price is right in between what we said, 40,000 for Leviathan. Yeah. It's cheap enough that it's, I think, if you do some looting, it's affordable, and it's a really big power spike depending on your situation. Okay.
Well, far that Zod's almost going to be possibly required here, because that's our Moon Nexus.
Yeah, Mike just went through a variety of emotions very quickly, from horror to just absolute joy finding the Darkness Crystal at Zod. That's a check that a lot of runners are going to skip for a very long time. You don't need the characters when there's free characters, and there's not that much variety available, and there are so many other things to do. So finding Darkness for Mike's pretty big. Also opens up a lot more of the game.
Yeah, I mean, everything's pretty much open to us except for, the hook route. We have both grind options on the table. We have the Gold Dragons. We also have the D Machine, 2 bosses on the Giant, and many more on the Moon. So, gonna be interesting going forward and what our runners decide to do. Both now just high-fiving each other as they're both turning in the pan.
Pan turning from the Sylph rewards a Sand Ruby. Probably not interested in that.
Oh, but it is another key item.
Yeah, it's another key item, but Sheila too could have any number of things here. Also, Mike checking his objectives quickly here. I like seeing this because I think when we're racing, it's pretty easy to forget, like, if you've completed an objective or if you got the key item you thought you did. Like, if you're ever unsure, you can go into your menu and go to that track menu and check.
If you ever get to the point of where's my progression, I can't find the other key item, Rose's mom and Baron will tell you about the key item locations you haven't done yet.
Yep. But yeah, Mike looking at those objectives very smartly, coming down here just to unlock the sealed cave. It's an objective. Just get that out of the way before you forget about it, kind of a thing.
It's complete sealed cave, so we actually have to beat the boss in sealed cave.
Okay. Alright, sorry about that. I might have been interested in taking it then, actually, right now.
Well, I mean, at least unlocking it, you don't have to go through the unlock cutscene later on. Some bosses there can be quite mean, as that's where Evil Wall normally is. It can hit hard, it's got high magic. not very fun, depending on who's there. Turning in the pan.
Also, I'm pretty sure what I saw was Mike unlocked the sealed cave and that gave him an objective, and that's what I remembered seeing in the list he was looking at. I think the first objective is actually unlock the sealed cave, and yeah, a restreamer, thank you very much for correcting that. So yeah, Mike
unlocked.
is very close to go mode here. Cave Bahamut is now on the table with the darkness crystals, so we need either the twin harp or the package, and we'll be in go mode.
Well, okay then. Looks like Mike's going to do dwarf. If Mike does the warp glitch, we'll have 10 key items. I believe Arista is grinding eggs right now.
Well, while Arusta takes on some eggs and Mike does a check we've seen in Dwarf Castle already, I just want to take a quick moment to shout out our restream team. Of course, I'm joined here by Tybalt and commentary, but we also have behind the scenes, we have Aska424 being our restreamer, and we have Warlink05 doing the tracking. Definitely a big shout out to the restream crew. Follow these folks, they're great, and especially the behind the scenes folks. You know, you get to hear us do the talking, but this doesn't happen without also the restreamer and the tracker, so definitely shout outs to them.
Definitely, as Warlink's been quite busy, just lighting up all those buttons, keeping them away from Possum. So, you're in the runner's shoes. You've got Mike, who's right now you're doing dwarf. You've got, you're looking for another key item, or you've got Bahamut on the table. What would be your kind of action here going forward?
I'm counting key items. There's 8 key items in my inventory. I think I would buy some sirens and get to the mid 30s and go look at what is in cave value. Actually, so you can do a couple eggs. I think Arusta's team's already at the low mid 30s. Bring some sirens to the moon. You've also got hourglasses. You've got Artemis arrows. And Tala can cast Wake. That makes gold dragons pretty easy to do, which is a grind option in cave value. So you can check that boss and also do enough of a grind to be able to take it on. I'm interested in doing Cave Bahamut first because Cave Bahamut could have the package or the twin harp with it, which would make it hard required. So I think that's the priority here.
Looks
at least for me.
Looks like Mike might decided not to take the Rydia. Maybe happy with his current party composition.
I also don't mind doing Dwarf Castle here just because it's 2 potential key items and with the warp glitch. And that would put Mike at 10 key items, and that just makes the grind literally twice as fast. So I see the thinking here.
Yeah, not just the fact that, but you're also looking for package. You may be looking for a hook. You're looking for 2 key items. That could, you're looking for multiple items. Getting 2 out of the way. Actually, a bit of a heads up play there. And then once you get your 10 key items, get your grind, and then you can make your choices on where you go next.
Yeah, I will say one of the traps that you can end up in when you're hunting for your 10th key item is that on flag sets that have K, main, summon, moon, which are pretty typical for tournament flag sets, there are a lot of misses from key item checks, and you could be on a very long hunt to get to 10 key items. I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's definitely not wrong, and Mike will get rewarded with at least 1 key item. I forget if Dwarf itself gave one, but
Dwarf itself gave the Baron key.
then he'll get to 10 key items, so this will work out very well for him. You can end up in sort of like a key item, like sort of a fruitless key item hunt, is what I'm saying, though. That's something I always try to keep in the back of my mind.
Yeah, you never know when you've got so many key items that can just chain into one another. You may only be at 7 or 8 key items and everything's hidden behind the rat tail, and it just is one long chain. Mike, look here, getting the Baron key. Will he remember to warp?
I think he just realized now, so he'll have to warp twice.
Yep. But at least you're still able to warp.
Yep, and for anyone who might not have known, the way the warp spell works, it just takes you back one location from where you came from. It operates kind of weirdly depending on where you're at, but Dwarf Castle, you could essentially run around and screen transition 20 times. And then if you warped 20 times, you would end up back in this throne room and then could still get to the crystal room. So if you don't have NP for warp, you can go to the inn in Dwarf Castle, get your NP back, and then cast warp enough times to end up back. Just a good thing to know in the back of your pocket.
I think he meant to cast exit there, warping back into the throne room, going, yeah, nope, I'm still here. I haven't left yet. Working on it. Maybe he was looking to do some shopping here. Well, we have Arusta checking, going back down to the Fame Arches. We do have, technical 2 free bosses here. One of them being Baron Guards here. Does have some hourglasses.
Yeah, having done enough of a grind, I think that Sid has enough health if you can get a curative on him to survive DKC's Dark Waves. Those Dark Waves will hurt a lot, so we'll kind of see how that plays out. But yeah, just having the coffins, getting through the guards, I don't mind this at all. Mike, in the meanwhile, buying 5 sirens, says to me that he's just going to go to the moon, and this is a very reasonable play. You have the 10 key items, so it's pretty obvious you're going to take a grind of some sort, and you also want to go to Cave Bahamut to clear that objective, and you have the tools to do Gold Dragons, so he's going to raise the Lunar Whale, go to Cave Bahamut, probably peek who the boss is, and then do some Gold Dragons, or take the boss if he feels powerful enough to do it already.
May also take the character there, but we have Bahamut summoned from the Baron Guards. Great
Speaking
pickup
of
for
Bahamut,
Arusta. Yeah, great pickup for Arusta, as has the Rydia to utilize it.
Yeah, she'll make great use of Bahamut. Bahamut is literally Mega Flare. It's nuke, but AoE. Pretty much how strong it is. It's actually technically stronger than that. Won't matter against this DKC, though. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I believe DKC does anywhere between, is it 11 to 1300 here?
Yeah, so there is an issue here. Arusta either needs a Cure 3 or an Elixir, or 2 party members that could survive that could throw Cure 2s, and even then that seems might not be safe enough. Or needs Porum to go early enough that she can cast Cure 3 or Cure 4. And Arusta very wisely saying, you know what, I don't want to bang my head against this, I'm not exactly sure how to get through that, I'm just gonna fade it and go on to other things. And that makes a lot of sense to me.
Mike here changing up his party, getting rid of the Kane, picking up a Porum. I wonder if Mike's thinking about doing some Reflex Strats, as he also picked up the Rydia as well.
Yeah, very possible. He might need more than the 5 sirens if he's interested in that. So he might have picked up some other sirens before that, so he might have more than 5 in his inventory.
Going to the Peninsula of Power here.
It's really interesting. This particular seed gives you all the tools, I think, for both Berserkers and Mage Strats.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Rydias for the nukes, and well, with Rydia with her high experience curve taking a long time to be able to get nuke. Porum almost in the same boat with the white cast, but doing Reflex Strats with 2 white casters, yes, it can be done. It is a little bit more difficult as white takes forever to cast, and we have Val at the top of tower.
Frith calling this the peninsula of poaching. Thank you for that. Val at top of tower is fine, I think.
Yeah. Val at top of tower is completely fine. Is completely weak to physical, and if I remember correctly, you can at least nuke her as well as she only has a 170 magic defense. So nuke, quake, Bahamut, Leviathan will all break her in her spin.
Yeah, but crucially for Arusta's team, the Kane and the Sid alone are going to be able to take her down. Even if you didn't jump here, you could just kind of zerk against Valvalis, and the most annoying thing she'll do against this team, I think, is just take up your time.
Yeah, with
by casting weak and stone constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like I said, a lot of other runners are going to do Arusta going to top of tower, not wanting to do Zot, which is a very, very fair thing to do. I think I'd be fading Zot myself on this particular flag set. On this particular seed, I mean, given a lot of other things to do. Just because it's a long check. But unfortunately, we know that Darkness Crystal is there and it is required. Most likely required.
Yeah, because I don't think... unless the package and Twin Harper here on the Earth.
Which technically could happen.
Yeah, it very well can. We do have Baron Key and Top Tower here, along with the Fey March, still for key item checks. Let's see what the Top Tower gives us here after that Val has been thwarted. Legend Sword.
Funny thing about Forge, for us, it does nothing. It's a key item. It's cute. It does enable a shop if you do want to turn in the Forge, but we don't have Super Smith on, so that just gives an Excalibur. When I say just an Excalibur, I mean, well, a flag set that doesn't have Cecil in it, unfortunately,
it's just money.
Not what you want to see, yeah.
But the shop there can hold some pretty amazing equipment in there.
It can, but the time taken to actually go do Forge, I think, is not worth it. So it's really the last key item you wanted to see. I think any other key item would have had some purpose. Maybe the pink tail would have been also not super great because you don't have a hook yet to turn it in.
No, you don't. So that leaves Arusta with the Fey March and Zot to go check. And still Baron as well, because still don't have the Luca key.
And knowing that we're going to fade, I think that DKC is going to get faded into the sun here. I think Arusta will go to Zot next.
Yeah. At least get an attempt to, the DKC. You always want to try something just to see if you can get through it. But knowing when, yes, I can't get through this right now, I'll come back later. Always a high level thing to keep in mind.
I didn't even notice this before. Sheila 2 giving out a crystal sword. Just sort of mockingly, like... like, here, I heard you could make use of this. No,
it's the second crystal sword found. As one was in the Fey March. Now, I don't think any of our runners have actually checked Mist Cave, and we have Arusta here checking the Sandruby character, which neither runner has done. So, who knows who's actually here? It's just another Yang. So you bonk the monk, he gives you the Sandruby to go wake him up in Kaipo.
He just
Okay. Looks like Arosa has found the Cure 3s in Kaipo.
This feels like some sort of quantum physics problem.
I think we're getting yelled in chat for trying to logic that.
Yang giving you the pan to wake up Yang in the future?
Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
like
I'm
that.
not going to think hard about it anymore.
Well, there's Bahamut, but not in Cave Bahamut.
Ah, yes, the Baron Key. That's the other thing that Arusa can do. So looks like we're going to do that next. Might also do Baron in if he hasn't done that.
Yeah, he hasn't
Looks
done
like he
Baron in.
hasn't. Okay, that makes sense too.
Baron in gave Luca Key. So we're not, or it is, an objective to unlock the sealed cave.
Yep.
Just not for the key item.
I mean, it's an important objective item, though.
Because there could be a spicy Demus hiding down there.
Now, one thing you can think about in this spot, when you have an Earth Crystal and a Baron Key, and actually the Baron in check in hand, there's sort of an efficiency of proximity you can do with your routing, where if you go to Zot and clear that, it drops you right in front of Baron, and then you can do those two spots. So there's sort of an efficiency there that I like. It would be like in this situation something that would tempt me to do Zot before doing the Baron stuff.
So Mike's sitting here deciding to scoop up some eggs here.
Yeah, the other option with your sirens are gold dragons. I've never timed it myself, but from what I understand, conventional wisdom says that the one-shot egg versus doing an hourglass and hitting the weakness against gold dragons are pretty similar in time, but this is just so much safer.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, if you're able to first actor kills the egg, I think if you do it correctly as fast as possible, like 3 eggs in a minute, I believe.
Yeah,
So
I don't know the exact math.
Yeah, that's almost as much as you get from doing gold dragons.
Yeah, I just know that I've heard multiple sources say they're very similar in time, and the eggs are just safer, honestly. When you throw an hourglass, the gold dragons are still going to punch twice.
Yeah,
so you have to take the time to pick up party members, and then Zerk and Artemis Arrow Wielder, and then throw life glitches. Like, you have to kind of do all of that. Whereas with gold dragons, with the yellow dragon eggs, use a siren, whole day, you're good.
Very much safe. Mike going back onto the Feymarch, and Arresta's going into Baron.
Mike has now power incredibly overwhelming. Rydia's level 51, has nuke. This is beyond nuke, really. Has all the power he needs to get through the rest of the seed by far. Opting to clear at least the Feymarch before going to the moon.
Yeah, because you don't... It's one thing that always sits on the back of a runner's mind is if you fade Feymarch for too long, you forget about it.
Was it Mike or Arusta who found the cursed ring in the shop? Do you remember?
That was, I believe, Arusta found it in Silvera.
That's what I want to say too. I'm not sure if Mike has a cursed ring. We'll see. But DKC is a problem, I think, if he doesn't for his team. Unless Edward can get fast enough to be able to hide.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it plays out.
Well, we thought Baron was going to be free. Found Golbez.
It's still free, technically. It's just, yeah. You have to sit through his comedy routine before you can kill him, which is sort of like whenever you find Golbez at a spot that's not that challenging, it's just sort of like, really?
Yeah, it's kind of just annoying, really.
Alright, so Micah's taking DKC on the right side here. Has the Edward up top. Has 1,400 hit points on Edward. That is a lot.
Yep.
He's going to take one hit from the Dark Wave, survive it, and then hide, and then this fight is done. Might even be able to cure for someone on his team. Yeah, it looks like he's going to cast the Cure 4. Might have wanted to wait for DKC to cast. But actually has the time here, so able to get off another Cure 4.
Yeah, might be able to keep all party members alive here, using that Edward as just a safety in case things go sideways.
Bringing the Edward out might not be what he wanted here, but getting the Cure 4 out, yeah, he's through.
Yeah, third wave going to come out, everybody's going to be full health. And rushes through Golbez, gonna see what's in the Baron trash can.
Yep, we're gonna get two separate checks at the same time here, pretty much. See if we find value.
So value in the Fame Arch.
Artemis Bow.
Well, I mean, you had Dragon on one side, Dragon killing gear on the other side. Even though the Artemis Bow does not do extra damage to dragons.
And Sylph in the Baron pot. So pretty much zonks all around. There is still the Odin Throne in Baron Castle to check.
Yep, very true. Another summon spot. Looks like Arusta's going back in to check the Odin spot.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mike needs to go back and take on these Baron guards, see if they have a key item.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately,
I don't know if Mike opened that. Yeah, I don't know if Mike opened that treasury. I think they both did. They both opened the treasury. Yeah.
Yep.
One small point here is when you get a reward that you don't care about from the Fame Arch, just go do the other fight. Because if you happen to fail the second fight, and that means that you reset from before doing DKC, I mean, it's not really a loss, because you don't care about the experience of the key item.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minor point, but it does save time.
And we'll get to see what's down here at the Baron basement. And it is the other guards.
So we are finding more free in spots that aren't on the moon, basically.
Yeah, and it's looking like the moon so far. Few free fights out there, but not very many. And welcome everybody from Dusty Streams. We just got raided by Dusty Griff. I think we missed one earlier.
Yep, hello there and welcome. We are in an hour and 6 minutes into this race, Race of the Pink Puffs, doing Reject %. This is a flag set where character selection is somewhat limited. We have free characters, but the characters available are only Tella, Porum, Rydia, Sid, Edward, someone else? Yang.
Yeah, yep. The characters that don't exactly get all the love.
Mike popping in to grab what looks like a fresh anchor to me, I think, and is going to head to the moon now.
Yep, as doesn't have the cursed ring. Rustifying a Stardust Rod. While it is a great item, I mean, got Iridia, you can at least use it. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind fighting Stardust. I mean, it's obviously not what you want to see. If you were looking to shave time, you certainly could reset out of Stardust Rod. I wouldn't blame a runner for doing that, but I also don't blame him for keeping essentially the best weapon Rydia could wear.
mm-hmm.
But Mike, heading over now to Cave Value, get to check out who this boss is and take out one more objective. Very much ready to do so at his levels. And we'll also see if it's hard required or not. Again, the Bahamut spot could have the package or the Twin Harp, and if it does, that would, one, make it what we call hard required. You have to do it, and two, it would be go mode.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I think the value, it has to be on the moon, right?
Yeah, at that point,
I think we've seen everything
have
else.
to be on the moon. Unless Demist is at Sealed Cave holding an item.
That would be hilarious and awful.
Yeah.
Very unlikely, but yeah, I guess you never know. The Rooster, meanwhile, is finally climbing up the Tower of Zot. Like I was talking about earlier, this is one of those checks. On a flag set with free characters, you want to fade for as long as possible because it is very slow, and you've already found the boss hunt in Evil Wall. But Arista down to really this or DKC, taking his chances on this instead, and will get his Darkness Crystal and be able to get through the rest of the seed.
Yep, so we know Dark Elf's here. Let's see who's on our way down to Cave Bahamut. Is it going to be free? Is it going to be really mean? Well, this is, I believe it's a 50-50 between a Nope Noodle or Wyvern.
Yep, this is Ogo or Wyvern. Looks like it's Ogo Pogo.
Ooh. Well, for Mike's team here, I mean, you can still hit Ogo Pogo with spells, you just have to reflect them off a wall.
Yeah, this is particularly bad. This might be the worst boss he could find here. And here's why. You have to spend time blinking because it punches very hard. You can't direct cast spells against this without causing a counter blaze, which does hit point based damage.
Mm-hmm.
The waves already do hit point based damage. This is putting Mike in a spot where you have to spend a lot of time reacting and picking up party members and healing, and you could lose the tempo of this fight very easily. Able to keep up one Porum with a blink. I think he is going to get through this, but it's just going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, it's going to take some
time. This is not free.
Hoping the best for Mike here. Well, Aresta is about to find the nasty alt gauntlet.
Yeah, Mike's best course of action might be blinking up Edward and berserking him. The berserk swings will, one, deal a lot of damage, but then two, give him time. When a character is attacking, the ATB system is frozen, so the time is frozen basically, so you can do menuing while a character is attacking and not be with time frozen. It ends up playing out that you can take more actions than you normally could, so there's a lot of benefit to Zerking Edward here. But otherwise, if he stabilizes, gets his white mages up, gets his blinks up, is able to... And it looks like that Edward is berserked, so...
Going here with the Cure 4.
What is that Edward wearing?
I wonder if Edward's wearing the glass hat.
He must be, right? Took 140 damage.
Yeah, it would be the glass hat, crystal ring, power shirt, which is probably about the best defense we can possibly give him. That glass had giving 30% to physical reduction.
Yeah, so Mike now realizing kind of his way through this fight is just really keeping these white mages up. You don't need the experience on anyone. Edward will get the kill. I think this is going to be fine now. The targeting has been very good to him. With the 2 white mages up now, and with the blinks up on them, this setup is now complete where you can kind of breathe easy.
Mm-hmm. The only worry here is running out of MP. Fortunately enough, Porum, has a decent MP pool, so we'll be able to keep up the heals.
I was gonna say they've got like 400 MP each. I think they're gonna be fine there.
Yeah.
Yep, and gets through the fight. Well done.
Very nicely done by Mike. And we just get a
Objectives complete, not the value. All right, Tybalt. Top down, bottom up.
Looking at what we have for objectives, I'm going bottom up. I've got levels. I'm just looking for key items, and there's 4 key items down there at the bottom, possibly. If I was looking for 1, I might do the top down, but I'm going bottom up, personally. How about you, Solaris?
I think they both have merit. When we're looking for 1 key item, the benefit of going top down is that if you find the key item at the Murasame altar, you do not have to spend all the time going all the way to the bottom of the moon. However, it's only 1 key item chuck. And like you said, everything else is at the bottom of the moon. There are 5 key items down there if you also count the Crystal Sword altar. Being closer, I think, from the bottom than the top.
Yeah, it's definitely closer from the bottom.
I think they both have merit. Chat wisely pointing out with the pass, if you go bottom up, you're not as punished because you don't have to then come back to the moon and kind of do that walk twice. But
right. And looks like it's just a Porum there. I mean, oops, all Porums? Yeah, we'll take a full party of Porums to Z. Won't that be fine, Solaris?
I mean, with a Black Mage in tow, it makes it a lot easier if you're doing reflect things. I have killed Z before with just 2 white mages. It's not pretty. Of course, we have a lot more power on this team than just 2 white mages, but...
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a half a dozen one or the other, whether you find, white mage gear or, black mage gear. But Nuke is so much faster of a cast time. Yeah, Resta has opened the sealed cave. Finally got a second objective here on the board.
Yep,
well, Mike is...
Yep, going bottom up. And this is fine. This makes a lot of sense. I think the conventional wisdom leads a little bit more towards going bottom up than doing top down, but I really think either play is defensible.
Very much so.
But this is what getting a darkness crystal does for your middle to end game. You get faced with a lot of choices because suddenly there are a ton of checks that you can do in one location.
As we mentioned, it's a long way down to the bottom, but if you find the value down here, if you find any key items that are a chain, would you risk checking it out? If you find Hook down here, you've got the rat tail, do you chase it? If you find Tower Key, do you chase it?
That's tough. I think as a gamble in a big group race, yeah, there's a lot of value to just taking that item and running with it and putting your entire race basically on hoping that chain leads to something. But with the power level of this party, able to get through probably most bosses rather quickly, and you're looking for one of 2 key items, it would be very hard to convince me to leave the moon without full clearing it.
Yeah, same here, especially down here at the bottom. You know, if I've got just Murakami Altar left, I would probably take a gamble on one of those.
There's an Avenger that Kane can't wear. Thanks, Kane. Or that we can't wear anymore. It's fine. We don't need it.
Yeah. And as well as a Masamune for an edge that's taking a vacation.
I will say that the way that key item distribution works in summon and moon spots, basically the more key items you find, the less likely it is to find further key items. If I found the hook, the tower key, and the pink tail all down here, I would probably leave. Because the odds of getting a 4th key item become a lot worse. That might be the one situation that makes me very, very, very willing to just leave.
Yeah, the only problem is that we still have not seen that D-Mist.
Very true.
That D-Mist could be, you know, if you do the bottom of the moon, you go, okay, well, I've got my key items. You know, that D-Mist could be, you know, hiding there on the Crystal Sword Altar or at Murasame. Do you at least face check those before leaving?
I don't think I would face check just for a D-Mist. Personally. It's defensible. But let me paint you a picture.
I got my brush ready.
Lolly. Oh, sorry, say that again?
I said I've got my brush ready.
Okay. Lolly Ho Swiss. My first tournament match. Featured. No objectives complete, or almost no objectives complete, until you got to D-Mist on the giant that had the hook that gated literally everything else. That was a fun one.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Fun was it's a strong word. Fun was it was something. Mike finding a tower key. So here's one of our chain items from the White Spear altar.
Yep.
We'll see if he's interested in chasing or continuing. I think with the 1 key item you continue, but
yeah,
okay,
I mean you're already down here. I think you at least check the Pogo spot at minimum.
Tower key especially is not that quick of a check. I mean, the cannon room is quick, but just the time spent walking makes it probably the longest. Not the longest. The Twin Harp would be the longest of the chains, but the Twin Harp is just go mode. So it's of the chains available, I think the tower key is the longest one.
And here's a free fight.
Asuka deciding to just be the kindest of people on this seed.
King Queen Evelyn, it's free anywhere. Time consuming in some spots. But hey, free experience is free experience. I'll take it.
And Mike says, you know what? I think I can kill these faster than they can kill themselves.
In some spots you can. Here, I mean, with all the spells you have, might be faster.
Well, king goes down. Without the king, the queen will terminate her script by essentially dying.
Yeah, on her next action, she will terminate herself.
It's a bit hard to say if that's faster than letting them kill themselves, but he did that rather quickly, so that worked out. All right, now here's a hook. So that's 2 key items, a tower key and the hook.
Nope.
Very tempting to leave at this point.
Very tempting. I mean, you've got the hook to turn in the rat tail. You've got the tower key. Both chain items.
I would at least save. Actually, does saving even matter? No, I don't think saving matters. You could leave. You could just leave now. Saving now, I think, means that Mike keeps going.
Well, saving
I
a different
don't think
location makes a save scum.
Yeah, but you already had the save here, and you don't really care about the experience from the checks you did, right? And you don't need the key items. If the tower key and the rat tail both lead to nothing, I think you could just leave. But minor point. Regardless, Mike's saying, all right, I saw my 2 key items. I have 2 chances at finding go mode. I'm out. And it makes a lot of sense. The
Yeah.
third key item, less likely to find it, and I think at this point that third key item would have to be like a twin harp that gates the package.
Mm-hmm.
So odds are really good that one of these are going to lead to something.
It could be a hard required music. But oh wait, we'll have to do 4 of 5. That's right. I'm hoping it's behind music. I want this rat tail to be music. Don't you, Solaris?
Oh yeah, we always want music, of course.
Rat tail is
A crystal ring. Thanks, game.
thanks. Still have another chance for the tower key to be the harp. Still have a chance.
And that's what Mike's going to be doing next.
Yep.
Mike, I don't think cleared the top of tower. May full clear the tower. I'm not exactly sure.
Mike did clear. No, Mike hasn't touched tower at all.
I don't think Mike has touched the tower yet. Arusta has done the top of tower.
Yeah. Top of tower was the legend sword.
So, I mean, you could have 2 mindsets here about doing the top of tower. You could either be in the mindset of, I want to win the entire race, and if I want to do that, I will skip top of tower, because if I didn't do it already, I lost. The other mindset you could have is that I want to be in the upper bracket of completion times, and so I want density of key item checks, and that means I'm full clearing the tower, because if I missed it, yeah, I won't win, but at least I'll be very close to the top, because I just made sure I did literally everything.
Yeah. Question is, will Mike do the tower key room here? Didn't save beforehand, so doing tower key.
Having nobody finish the race yet would make me lean more towards skipping the top of tower.
And we just have an Octomom here. And I say, what Octomom?
Swam his way into the. I like how each tentacle is manning a cannon, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it fits. It really does fit. Too bad there's not a 4th sprite there, just for the... There's no actual sprite for the head, because that would make it even better.
Well, the head's in the middle, clearly. Just sort of controlling everything.
I can go with that. That works.
Okay, so Mike is clearing top of tower. This is the play that says, I'm nervous that I missed this, and I just want to get it done. I like doing this when you feel like you've had really good routing, or you feel like your time's been really fast. Sees that Val, though, and says, you know what, I'm good.
Goes, nope.
I'm good. I'm done. Never mind.
I don't have Kane. I'm out.
He's going to save first. Now, this is going to bleed some time.
Yeah, but does have the nukes and whites to just... Oh, actually, no. Just gotta walk away.
Yeah, he's safety saving here. Not quite sure about this Val, which is very fair, makes a lot of sense. With some experience, you will learn that Val at this spot's not very dangerous, and you have nuke. Odds of dying are pretty low, but I don't blame him. Especially Val specifically, you don't really know where she can or can't be affected with spells. Because unless you just like study that or commit to memory, it's just hard to know.
Yeah, some things runners will end up doing is I will end up posting out here. We have a chart, as I just posted there, that tells you where Val can be hit either with physical or with magic. If it's red, you can't hit magic. It's just nothing will pierce it. On the other side, if it's red, physical won't do anything. think was deleted.
Yeah, the Automad will take
Automod.
out links. Yeah. If you want to DM me the link, I can post it.
Okay. There we go. It's
The
one thing
one
that I
point
usually have up.
The one point I'll say about not knowing if Val could be nuked or whited is that you have Edward with a spoon, and Edward can always cut through Val.
Oh yeah, especially with all the strength gear he has on.
Yeah, but these are things that you learn with experience, because there's so much to know about this stinking game. There's so much to know, there's so much to learn, there's so much to process, and of course, you know, this is our Pink Puff League, so we don't feature, we're featuring up-and-coming runners here, and folks who are learning how to play the randomizer, or, you know, learning all sorts of stuff, depending on whatever their goals are.
Mm.
Which, speaking of, if you're interested in doing that yourself, we're near the end of this Pink Puff League, but I'm pretty sure we'll be doing it again, so something to keep in the back of mind.
Arusta got lucky there, only had just the blue dolls. I didn't catch if he had used an hourglass or not. If you end up leaving just one color of doll up, they will eventually transform into the big doll.
Yeah, so using an hourglass, pretty smart there.
Yep.
The big doll, it's often not as dangerous as it seems to be. The one issue with the big doll is that it casts Glance, which is a guaranteed charm on some party member. Glance could be pretty mean.
So you mentioned that there actually is one other thing with the doll that most people don't realize because we never really see the big doll. The big doll counters elemental spells.
What does it counter with?
I think almost the same as like Pale Dim will counter back. You never really use spells like Fire, Ice, or Lit on the big doll in the vanilla game, but it actually does counter.
All right,
There's
Tower
our
Key had
package.
value. There's our package. There's our go mode.
Yep, which leads me to believe that either the Murasame altar, Demist, or the Crystal Sword altar has the Twin Harp.
Yep, definitely. But this is go mode for Mike. No music for us from Mike tonight, unfortunately, but we got a black mage burning down the village. That seems somewhat thematic.
Yeah, but it seems fitting. Are they black mages just learning how to control their magic, or are they just being destructive?
Fire. Oh, also, I did post in chat that spreadsheet link to the Val reference spreadsheet that Tibble was talking about.
Yep. Some people like to have that up on the in the background just so they can quick reference it to see, can I hit Val here? Yes? Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll do that frequently with the boss stats spreadsheet. Mostly to remember the hit point values. It's kind of what I did to learn hit point values, at least for earlier bosses, the ones that you do more frequently. Was just sort of look at that spreadsheet and see how much health the boss I was about to do has, kind of as a way to try to teach myself. The thing about Val that I will always do personally, if I'm unsure of if magic will affect her or not, I will just cast a spell on her. If she has 254 magic defense, which is one less from max, even a lit 1 will do 1 damage to her. So any spell you cast, you can test with, essentially.
Yep.
And if you can hit with a spell, nuke is always going to do damage.
Like now realizing that, wait, you don't have to actually get the character to get the objective. It is just burn Mist Village.
Yep, with that, a crystal is in Mike's hand, and looks like we're taking that pass that we found and getting ready to take on an important fight.
Yeah, we have the pass in hand. We're setting up the party here. You know, I think making sure to take that arty bow off of Bridia. trading it out. What is there gonna be something happening here soon, here, Solaris?
I think Chad is wide awake right now.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it seemed to be...
wide awake, ready for action.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There's the sleepy flags.
Yep, there we
We gotta
go.
see flags out in chat. Now, I do want to say real quick before we get into this, we're not fighting for first place anymore. Ryban has finished in first place with a time of 1 hour 27 minutes 40 seconds, and NG Dave has just finished in second place, 1 hour 32 minutes and 4 seconds. So get your GGs up for them. But Mike is still fighting for third place. And yep, this is Aromas. We don't randomize him. Tibble, I'll let you do the thing.
So since he's so powerful, we don't stick him at Miss Cave or any trap chest. Since we can't randomize him, we change who he is. So with that, we must ask ourselves, whose booty are we gonna swooty tonight? And is it cute? Apparently is the new thing.
I mean, I'm always hoping for a cute butt. I'm always either hoping for a cute butt or a horrifying butt.
I'm always hoping for one I haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's fair. And with over 500 and... I don't even know the number anymore.
It's like 530, something like that, I think.
It's probably more than that, to be honest, with the new release we just had. There are a lot of sprites, y'all. There are a lot of sprites.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get the count from somebody eventually.
Yeah, only Scala Kitty and probably a couple of devs know the true number. But that's part of the allure of there are so many sprites and the list is not posted, so lots of surprises.
Well, we have Steelimus. Not exactly sure where this one's come from.
This is from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Seal is... okay. I've watched this series. I've had my friend try to explain it to me like 5 times. I still can't remember because the story is... it's a thing that exists. It's good. It's kind of confusing. I believe this is the council. In that series, it's like... it's sort of just represented by these numbers, like a council of like a government council. However, I should be talking about the Z fight. It looks like Z's very fast.
Yeah, I wonder if Mike has not changed battle speed down to 3.
That's what I'm thinking.
And maybe doesn't have a curse ring, so has a tell that has gotten some levels. I don't think has a silk web to throw out. I think that may have been one thing that might have been missed. I mean, switching it down to battle speed 5 gives you some extra time.
Yeah, I think the primary issue was battle speed 1. Silk web is important, but at these agility numbers, it's helpful, but it's not the most important thing. I think the battle speed is more important. Dropping down to battle speed 5 is very safe. Probably could do 3 or 4, but I don't blame it at all for being like, you know what, I just want this to be safe as possible, something I'm guaranteed to get through. So sets the battle speed down. We're gonna go back into the fight and get through it the second time. Now, while we're starting this second attempt at Z here, we have had a couple more finishes. Get your GGs out in chat for Cubs Rule 21, finishing in third place at a time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 53 seconds. And we also have Mole Boy coming in fourth place with a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 19 seconds.
GGs to them, and we have Mike coming in for the second attempt. Meanwhile, Aresta going to the Murasame altar. Going top down, it looks like. Ooh, good old CPU here at Murasame altar. where yes, it is free, it is really time consuming. Mazer will always do 10% of your health every single time. The remedy from the defender, something that you want to try to take out. It looks like Kane's got the Avenger, so hoping not to take out the attacker. Maybe try to cast Blink. But once both orbs go down, here comes out the fun of the Globe 199, which in most spots do a lot of damage. And yep, good night for them. Some locations you can survive. I want to say top of tower is one of them. But going with what we call the YOLO strats of trying to clog that queue with Berserk, trying to get as much damage out there as possible. Some people call it Plan Q. Meanwhile, Mike here is in a steady Z fight, got the Silk Web out, is reflecting the nukes and whites. So, gets the counter nuke on the wall caster. You always prefer to see that. And looks like Aresta has taken out the big orb. Now just has to deal with the little ones. And we shall see what we get from here. Is it value? The 50-50 of it being Twin Harp. More than 33, I think, because we still have Demus on the table. And we have found Twin Harp. We have found music.
Hey, that's good news for both us and Arusta. Arusta now also in Go mode, and we'll get to have music.
Yeah. And the one nice thing is, doing music, you're right there at Troya when you finish it. We're gonna be able to use that pass to great effect. Meanwhile, Ed's sitting there going, nope, Delimus, too strong, must hide.
Yeah, Edward, as powerful as he is now with that spoon and all his gear and all those levels, what we're doing here is what we call Reflex Strats. So with the battle speed turned down, the way this boss works, it has a hit point refill script because, like a couple other bosses, the devs wanted more hit points here than the game was able to hold, essentially. So at about the 45,000 mark, when Z takes that much damage, he'll refill his hit points back to max and go to a second phase. However, when you reflect damage, so we don't get into an infinite loop, the reflected damage doesn't trigger any scripts. So we call this Reflex Strats. You only have to deal half as much damage, essentially, to Zoromus. And with that strategy, you just don't want Edward to swing after a certain point.
And with that last nuke from Rydia, it looks like DMS is down. Mike has finished, and it looks like with an official time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 17 seconds. GG's to Mike. We'll see here if he is willing to come in for an interview. Meanwhile, we will have music here coming shortly from Aresta. And we can see, is this where our Demist is hiding?
So while we wait to see if Mike wants to do an interview, we will have music coming very shortly, so quick spiel about that. We randomized the music in this game. This is normally Edward's song, but there are some hundreds of songs now, I believe. Also a bunch of them added recently. Many of them done by Calamity, many recently done by community member Xenocat. So, chat, enjoy the music.
Yeah, we'll be quiet. Or is this time we're supposed to talk?
I think we're for chaotic evil we talk, but
Yeah, we'll
I'll be
let
nice.
yeah, it'll be nice to be quiet.
All right, and that was The Oath from Final Fantasy VIII. And thank you, Mike, for your patience there. We're just getting some Twin Heart music. We are joined by Mike, GG's Mike.
And while we wait for Mike here, Aresta has the crystal and is ready to go to Zeromus. Meanwhile, Pinktail is with the Demist.
Thanks, guys. The Oath is one of my favorite FF8 songs.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I love it.
Such a beautiful song.
So, you guys noticed that life comes at you fast on Battle Speed 1 doing Reflex Strats.
Life does indeed come at you fast.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Is that something that you overlooked and thought you may have done, or?
Yeah, I overlooked it.
Happens to the best of us. Happens absolutely to the best of us. But again, GG's. Tell us just overall how you felt about the scene.
You know, that Ogo fight, I've never felt luckier. It started out so bad, though, that 2 of my 3 white mages went down instantly, and I realized I had no life potions. I almost reset out, and I thought, I'll try blinking and just Eddie attacking and see if I can get people up. And slowly but surely, everyone stayed alive because I didn't crush my white mage whenever the blink went out. So that was exhilarating.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that you didn't have life potions. We were already talking about what a difficult fight that was for your team and how well done it was, but especially without the life potions, having to lean on the white mages, very, very well done. Very well done.
Thanks. I almost penguinated special that tower. I guess I should have. Nobody was done yet. And I figured since everyone was probably missing just one of those last 2 key items, if it was on top of tower, somebody would have finished by then. But I decided to play conservative and take out Val first.
Yep, that makes sense to me too. We kind of talked that out briefly also of the idea of like if you're gunning for a win, you do kind of what you just said about fading a spot that somebody might have taken earlier. And otherwise, if you want to be, I think, like in just kind of the upper brackets of finish places, you take the conservative line. So Makes sense to me. It's pretty much how we talked it out. Talk us through, actually, once you had the 10 key items and the grind was ready, and shifting over to the party that you did, kind of walk us through what was on your mind there.
Well, I knew I wanted to do Reflex Strats, and the way I'd practice this was just go do D-Money and be done with it, but I had the Sirens already purchased. Just seemed really easy and quick. I don't know how much time I lost. I probably shouldn't have been berserking Eddie. He probably could have taken out the eggs in one shot without berserk, but I was playing conservative there too. So yeah, I could have opted Eddie for another caster to make the reflex strats better, but I knew I had to search for that last key item. I did want somebody throwing punches in case I had a magic resistant situation. Like I knew one of the chances was the music. I don't want to be casting spells there. Speaking of which, where was the Twin Heart?
Twin Heart, I believe, was the Murasame altar, yeah.
Yep, Murasame altar.
Ah, okay.
But that's something else that we ended up talking about, was like, do you go top down or bottom up when you're looking for a few different key items?
Yeah, I wanted to hit that ribbon altar right away for the 2. And then there's another chance right next to it. And then I went deeper into the crystal area, the Mazamoon altar. And once I had 2 checks at that point, and I figured both key items probably weren't in either of the other two moon areas. I faded the rest of the moon at that point and chased those. And Tower had one of them.
Yeah, I love your assessment there at that back half of that seed of both keeping a damage dealer like Edward, knowing that you don't need all mages to do reflex strats, and just giving yourself leeway room for trouble like Ogopogo specifically. I think that's very well done. And then also knowing that sort of the way the key items were, the key item situation was with the chains. I think you're right that it was most likely that one of those 2 things you found led towards go mode. Because it would have had to have been Twin Harp gating the package or D-Mist holding one of those 2 key items. Yeah. So,
yeah, I felt like the odds were good there. If Tower didn't have it, I was going to do Baron next.
Yeah, so very well done. Very, very impressive run, I think, for you here tonight.
Thanks, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for all you guys for hosting this and putting together PPL. It's been a great experience to learn and get involved in the game. And maybe we'll join the tournament due to it.
I love hearing that. I'm sure Asuka's super happy to hear that. And anyway, sorry, Tybalt, do you have any other questions or?
No, I don't have any other questions unless you do, Solaris.
No, I'm good.
I say thank you, Mike, for allowing us to restream you. It was a great run, and GG's.
Thanks, guys, and one last shout out to Asuka. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Mike. Have a good one. All right, that was Mike. That was our 8th place finisher. Someone to watch out for in the tournament. I'm telling you, these pink puffs. There are going to be some pink puffs coming through that are going to, I think, do pretty well for themselves. And if not in this tournament, in future tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some nasty fights here and there, and these pink puffs are making me scared.
Making you quake in your boots.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Quake joke to be made there somewhere, but I don't know. I'm losing the thread here.
we didn't have Quack Kid, really. So, I mean, we had Rydia who has Quack, but she learns it so late.
Now, in the meanwhile, I did want to shout out a couple other finishers. Well, after Mike, we have in 9th place Empty Eye, finishing with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 3 seconds.
During our music, we had J-Mac, the librarian, finished in 5th place at 1:38.42. Charlie finishing at 1:39, and Neobari finishing at 1 hour and 40 minutes in 7th place. And with that, we have Cinemas being down for Arusta.
Yeah, GG's to Arusta, finishing in 10th place with a time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 50 seconds. Get your GG's out for Arusta, and we'll see if he is available for an interview. And with that, I believe we are joined by Arusta. GG's, Arusta.
Thank you, and GG's to Mike as well. Saw you finished a few minutes before me. Nicely done.
And with that, I believe we are joined by Arusta. GG's, Arusta.
Walk us through that early game there for you. I mean, there was
the mess I made of it. Yeah. So I saw the magma key fairly early, and I was like, okay,
walk us through that early game there for you. I mean, there was
one thing I think I probably should have done, which hold on, hit the button so it keeps going through the credits here. Was I went straight to check my sirens, which, was primarily for leveling reasons since I had one, but probably should have checked Dwarf Castle first, because if I bought a few more sirens, I probably could have, gotten more levels and done it quicker. And then I also did a bunch of back and forth in and out of Feymarch, and I think that really was kind of a mess.
With the Feymarch, at least one of the bosses there was kind of nasty with that DKC.
Yeah,
that took a lot of people. Were you thinking about, can I take this early on? Because we did see you end up getting rid of the Edward for, I believe you got rid of the Edward for another Tella.
Yeah, I got rid of the Edward for another Tella on Ordeals because, I was figuring, Spoonward is nice, but he's got low health. Who knows where I'll end up level-wise, so, I'd rather just get the second Tella for the cure benefits, all that. And then what ended up happening was, when I got to the first time when I dipped in, when I did Feymarch, like you probably saw, I took a wipe, but went in with 1 health just because I was trying to calculate, okay, how much health am I going to need to survive this? And then when I came back, I did the math wrong. So, it is what it is, but what ended up being there, by the way? Anything valuable or interesting?
Just an Artemis bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was very smart to... DKC is one of those bosses that it's very easy to butt your head up against multiple times. I've definitely, on Restream, tried to do DKC like 6 times or something like that. And when you're unsure and don't want to spend the time, though it's very reasonable to do so, I just think it was very smart to realize very quickly that, you know what, I'm not sure what the setup here is to finish this. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave, move on, and try to go somewhere else. That made a lot of sense to me. Also, it made a lot of sense to me that I know you did Zot sort of later, and doing that later made a lot of sense to me just because of how slow the check is, and you had your boss, you kind of had your boss hunt out of the way. So I think a lot of your early game routing, it made a lot of sense to me. It just might not have played out in your favor in this particular case.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where... Did anyone find Demas, by the way? Because that was the only boss I was thinking, oh, well, it might be worth checking, but knowing that I had already had Evil Wall, I was like, well, it's a lot of time commitment for just 1 check. Let's see what else I can do first. But then I got to Feymarch at Leviathan, or when I bounced off DKC the first time, it's like, well, I am going to commit to putting that last location no matter what else it takes, so...
Nobody found Demas. It's either behind the package, it's Sealed Cave, or the Crystal Sword Altar, or on the Giant. On locations we don't know.
Confirming. NG Dave, so one of the runners confirming that Demas was at the Crystal Sword Altar. Which looks like was a very good fade, because Demas wouldn't have had... might have had the pink tail, I guess, but
Yeah, look at the spoiler log. Pinktail was at Demist, so it would have been
That makes sense.
a free adamant armor, but do you really need it?
No, had so much power already. Any other thoughts about the seed in general, Arusta?
I really like the flag set. Like, it was definitely an interesting challenge. I definitely like the idea, just the setup in these new flags of having the gated quests. The gated quest is a specific objective rather than just any quest, because that definitely makes it more interesting. Ensures that you won't have a bunch of just quests, like Fabul Gauntlet, which makes the seed super jet. So it's definitely an interesting challenge, and I liked it. Big thanks to Asuka for putting this together and running the Pink Puff League, because I do feel like I've gotten a lot better over the time of running it, and definitely seems like everybody has.
Well, we're definitely glad to hear that, and I'm sure Asuka especially is very glad to hear that. So that's very much appreciated. I'm glad you've had fun with this. I'm glad you love the flag set, or that you like the flag set. And there's a couple more weeks of this to go, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your progress. It's been a lot of fun watching you. Finishing the place that you did, given where you found the Darkness Crystal, I think it's a very good finish time. I'm excited to see where how you do going forward. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I'm honored to have been able to commentate for you.
Oh yeah, great run.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate the restream, and that's something that I definitely like that Free Enterprise does, is put forth a lot of effort in making top tier restreams and really getting quality comms and putting forth a lot of effort on that, and that's definitely noted and definitely appreciated on my side.
Yeah, for sure. We can thank the team. We can thank Scala Kitty specifically for the quality of restreams, I will say, especially. But yeah, that's kind of it for me for questions. How about you, Tybalt?
No, I don't really have much any other questions, but thank you, Arusta, for Arusta. Sorry, I may have mispronounced the name a few times in there. Thank you for allowing us to restream you. Great run. I wish luck for you in the future.
All right, and thank you both for commentating. Thanks for Warlink behind the scenes doing the difficult work of tracking, and Asuka for doing the restream, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thanks.
You too.
All right, Tybalt.
Yeah.
Can you believe there are only 2 weeks left of Pink Puff League?
2 weeks? Wow, Pink Puff has gone by so fast.
I know. I feel like just yesterday I was looking over, what the idea of the Pink Puff League was, not even so much the league itself. I think we could say at this point it's been a resounding success. I love all the engagement that the Puffs have had with the various flag sets, and just big shout out to them especially for just being really awesome and engaged with a very new league for Free Enterprise in general.
Oh yeah, I think this has turned out, better than expected in some people's eyes. Like these Pink Puffs have come such a long way, and for some that they didn't know much about the game, and look at them now.
This is definitely the thing that I wanted for myself when I started playing Free Enterprise, was a league like this, so I'm very happy to see it. But for the meanwhile, we're not done with Free Enterprise action. We are done with the stream tonight, but we're going to be heading over to Elven Sorrow. This is one of those Pink Puffs we've been talking about, who's doing ZZ4 practice. Definitely cheer them on and give them no spoilers for this race.
Definitely no spoilers, or we will find you and we will bonk you with a newspaper. And I know those hurt.
Yep, they can and will be weaponized against you. But anyways, that's it for us. Have a good night.